Welcome to Drilling into Crypto. I'm your host, Mohammed El Masri. Every week I speak to the leaders that are driving the global financial revolution. Drilling into Crypto puts the spotlight on the importance of crypto assets, on energy markets, and on global monetary policy. Welcome, Aleksa. Thank you for joining us on Drilling into Crypto.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's my pleasure.
Happy to be there.
We wanted to learn more about Aleksa and what brought you into crypto and what you were doing before that, and how you ventured into, crypto and eventually now working for Segment Cloud.
The fantastic question. It started from an entirely different industry. So I used to work in logistics before. And even before that, I used to work with the finance, with the traditional finance. However, I got extremely disappointed with that idea overall because I understood that the level of inflation is that high. It's that incredibly high that you couldn't predict anything. You couldn't base all of your models, and you have a feeling all of the time that you have to lie to the people about the outcomes, what's going on over there, because
Yeah.
you know that in the end of the day, it's gonna drop anyhow. So the point is that I put my eye on the crypto the moment it's actually starting to be developed. However, there were a lot of projects like Luna, for example, which got crashed and people got extremely biased related to the industry in general. So they were considering anyone who involves in crypto as a scammers. Many times I got a feedback like, "Oh, you are in crypto, so you are a scammer," some
Yeah.
sort of things like that. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is that for now, I wouldn't consider myself being only like pro Bitcoin or this sort of people like who only believe in Bitcoin. However, there is only 7 or 8% of the people who knows about what crypto is and who actively use the crypto. And my mission is, and my idea is to make it as broad as possible because I'm a huge believer in the concept itself.
That's amazing. So from similar, I can relate because I also ventured from corporate finance into crypto and was somewhat disappointed with the financial services sector just because of the pressure you have as a professional within the industry trying to maintain a balance between keeping your clients calm and during times of turmoil or recession or downturn, while also trying to maintain, but this is something they teach you within investment banking or even financial services, with regards to your integrity, your morals, and the ethics you need to abide by in order to maintain certain certifications and qualifications. But unfortunately, not everyone uh, abides by those within the actual practice. So I can understand where you're coming from, and moving into crypto. That's really interesting. So what brought you and what made you focus on Bitcoin mining today? I believe your focus is really Bitcoin mining, and attracting clients into the Bitcoin mining and allowing them to get exposure to Bitcoin. But what made you decide that this is the role for you versus everything else that's happening in the crypto space?
Well, there are two big stories. So I made the research and I made it actually very interesting investigation. So I myself personally, I'm from Belarus, and Belarus right now, the moment I was born there, it have about 12 million people roughly. So right now it's less than nine. And the point is that a one retired person have two taxpayers. Two retired people have one taxpayer
Mhm.
to pay
Okay.
all of the debts basically. So
Yeah.
the entire economy of the country is in debt. So that's the point. I truly believe that Belarus right now is surviving just because of the help from Russia. However, the general idea is that the traditional finance system, especially in our country, is lagging a lot because currently the average pension fund, which is Belarusian people are getting, is about not more than $200, $300 per month, which is roughly extremely difficult to survive on, even with a cheap country, let's say so. However, if we would imagine that average a retired person would have been invested even $10 in crypto starting 10 years back, then each of them would have $17,000 in their bank account right now. Minimum
Mhm.
is the recurring commission to each and every month which they're living for. So this is the one let's say driving force to understand that there is a few several missions while you are caring about yourself, you're caring about your family, and then you started caring about your friends and let's say exposure the mission. So the moment when you understood that entire nation have a problem of this, you are trying to do whatever you can to do to educate people, to get them involved, to get them engaged, and to get them understand that crypto is not a scam as long as you make a proper research and proper understanding of what it actually is.
Of course.
This is the main reason probably why I'm there right now.
That's amazing. I agree. There is this socio-economic divide between uh, classes within nations, right? For sure. Um, and not sure if that comes from a lack of robust tax systems or just a lack of productivity within an economy at certain levels, because the socio-economic construct of the world is pretty much flawed with the way it is today because of the level of, poverty and unemployment and the level of inability to attain financial freedom at an early age. And the retirement age continues to become, higher and higher, I believe. But even at retirement, your pension is not enough to maintain a certain lifestyle, right? You're still living below average if you were to rely on that solely. And maybe crypto does give us the opportunity to redistribute wealth in a certain way to allow better socioeconomics. Um, I think Bitcoin mining allows for that if it's done right. Crypto as a whole might be a bit more complex and more challenging because of the fact that um, most of these tokens are backed by companies that have founders and that are centralized, and that you would have to rely on an ethical team to make sure that this token remains um, robust, right? So, um, do you see that crypto is a potential tool to a solution to fix the problems that you mentioned with regards to the socio-economic construct of nations?
Well, I don't want, in some certain sense, I don't want to repeat the famous people like
It's okay. Go ahead.
Uh, but in some sense, what I feel about it that I recently had a very interesting conversation with one of the huge venture funds in Australia. They mentioned that about they wanted to invest a huge amount of money into the crypto. However, they are sort of thinking, about the potential of the market and how scammed it is, and et cetera, et cetera. And they mentioned that about 97.5% of the currently launched tokens are about to fail after the 3 years. So their evaluation, the global evaluation is going to be about zero or nearly not interesting, let's say economically interesting. However, the point is, if that we are going to take into the consideration the layer one, so the Bitcoins, the Ethereum, the Solana, the XRP, Cardano, and the majority of the players which are there, which have value, I would say I'm more of a believer that the traditional fiat system will be dying within the passage of time of 20, 25 years. We would not know what fiat money is. I don't really think that my future kids and my grandkids will know what is the government printed money is, because even if we go into take into the consideration one of the most, let's say, stable economies in the world, which is the US economy right now. For the past 25 years, the United States dollars had an inflation level of more than 80%, which is the proven fact. However, the Bitcoin outperforming any of the possible assets we ever knew in the history of the humankind. And if we're going to take into the consideration the point that even if with the market fluctuation and the many things which many um, short-term and long-term investors are not comfortable with, is the fact that Bitcoin could be 80K and then drop to 20K and then get back to 100K and all of the sources, market perturbations, and etc. Still, on average, Bitcoin makes about 50% plus every year, which we never seen before, and I highly doubting we will see. So I truly believe that for many families, for many people who are struggling and who are stuck and who have a feeling that they have been anyhow foolished by the current circumstances and environment, the crypto can be a real way out of this.
That's amazing. You're really eloquent with explanation on crypto, which is really refreshing to hear. There's a lot of people out there that speak about crypto, that explain crypto, but not everyone is able to eloquently put it in proper terms so that everyone can understand it and see its value. Because, and I'm assuming that your focus is mainly on fundamentals than it is on technicals. Because when you focus on the fundamentals of a certain technology or fundamentals of Bitcoin or crypto or certain crypto assets right now within the market, you're not so much worried about that volatility that you mentioned with regard to how Bitcoin can move, for example. And I do receive requests from clients sometimes asking me, oh, we expected Bitcoin to go to 200K or 150K plus, etc. We wanted to increase our Bitcoin mining capacity, as private investors. My response is always focus on the fundamentals. This is you're invested in monetary software, and if that software is something that you believe will still be around within the next 10, 20 years, then you need to invest within that horizon in consideration, right? So I always look at Bitcoin mining as a 5 year forecast because it is almost a 4 or 5 year cycle. But I think it's important to focus on fundamentals and try to get away from all the noise unless you're really a day trader or someone who trades futures, right? What do you think about that?
But I tried different sort of scenarios. With the trading, actually, the worst case scenario which is happening with you is that uh, the emotional sort of
Yeah.
thing which is happening with the trading is about 95% of all of your success. And since I'm not a trader right now and I wouldn't be able to talk from the trader's perspective, however, I'm surrounded with the people who got heavily impacted by the recent market crash, which happened a few weeks ago. So I was writing about this in my LinkedIn post on Saturday or Sunday. The Friday, 10th of October, 9-10 billion got like washed out of the market, and many investors got scared about that.
Yeah.
However, we have to keep in mind that I really suggest to treat the crypto game as a long-term game, and it actually a proven track record thing and the proven research which shows that the people who keep constantly investing in crypto, even $100 every month or $100 every week or etc., they win towards those who just invest they have a load of money and then they got scared by something which happened in the market. There is the indication which shows actually how far the short-term investors are away from the recent market trends. And currently, in that particular time, they are down. So basically, it means that the people who invested in crypto recently and used to get scared by the recent market crash, they lose the money and they lose the heavy amount of money. However, those who understand that the volatility is okay with them and they are okay to wait some period of the time, which is applicable for the mining heavily, they can do better than anyone else. So, if we're speaking about crypto holding and the crypto mining, there is a very huge difference. Even if we would not get into the consideration the money-wise thing, because mining is obviously way cheaper than the market rate currently. However, you need to be patient enough to keep paying the electricity bills every month, knowing that you don't know or don't want to withdraw the current crypto profits. Because if you would keep withdrawing the crypto profits, whatever the volatility is going down or going high, you're
Yeah,
definitely going to be in within only 3 or 4% of the market ratio of the plus ROI on a monthly basis.
correct. That's 100% correct. I'm glad you brought that up because that is one thing that we try to tell miners, mainly private miners, not to do is don't use your Bitcoin to pay your hosting fees or your power bill. Hold your Bitcoin for the full cycle in order to see the real upside of the Bitcoin mining investment. And we saw that firsthand and we can, because we have data to prove it, that for people who sold their Bitcoin to pay to pay the bills, versus the people who did not sell their Bitcoin to pay the bills and used their fiat to pay the power bills. And those who held on to their Bitcoin, got 2 times or 3 times their money versus those who sold their Bitcoin and some of them broke even and some of them didn't make their money back because of the fact that it was a volatile cycle, right? But now we're, I think, in a better cycle, one of the best cycles in my opinion, because of its stability. Overall, yes, there was a crash a few weeks ago, but overall it's been stable compared to past cycles, given the class of investors that have ventured into this space, the institutions that are now involved, the sovereign wealth funds that are involved, the state-backed companies that are actually involved on the infrastructure side, on the software side, on the hardware side, across the entire value chain, you have very large institutions that are now heavily invested and involved to secure the network. Uh, maybe it's maybe it's fueled by capitalism and not the same mission as you and I, but at the end of the day, it benefits the network, in my opinion, and it's proven to do so. Um, but yeah, I think you put it very well. Uh, I want to learn more about Segments Cloud. What do you guys do there?
Well, as a segments cloud, I would consider as being a sort of the pioneer in that particular industry because we tend to uh, do the great thing over the crypto mining industry in UAE in general. So, one of the most important things about segments is we are sort of a service provider. Um, More than anything, we could support not only retail customers, but industrial customers as well with the crypto mining companies. So we can do the full cycle of the services starting from for the retail customers, offering the machine, the delivery, the ROI analysis, the proper hosting services, the maintenance, the repair, data centers, and everything, which is the supporting the crypto mining operations. On the same time, for the industrial players, we could offer a very competitive rates and the search of the infrastructure-based objects here in UAE. secure the licenses, secure the proper regulations, and make sure that everything is clean, well managed for them because many companies are coming to the UAE market without knowing what it is, and we are here to support them and introduce their business to the industrial new sort of business there.
Okay, great. And do you have so you provide a full turnkey solution for clients basically, and are you focused within UAE or do you have other geographies where there's a lot of activity?
Well, currently our main focus is UAE. However, we we are exploring US, we are exploring Bhutan, we were exploring Russia quite some time ago. However, still until now, we found the UAE is the most secure place to do all of the sort of the mining operations. I would say because of the few major factors. So from 2020, before 2020, UAE was the country which were contributing in general 0.01% of the global hash rate. All of the activities there was not regulated, was not under the scope of the government, and no one knows what to do with that. However, from 2020, the new vision come into the place. Uh, Zero net technology, the solar global project, which was managed by Abu Dhabi government, and many investments, about $300 million, which came in the place for the crypto mining industry specifically, opened the new global era of possibility to expand this business over there. So starting from that year, in just 2 years, UAE started contributing more than 4%, and now there is about 8% of the global hash rate which UAE is contributing in the global market because it have zero tax income for the personal gaining. It have a very clear and very fast regulations regarding the possibility to obtain the crypto mining license in this particular area. Plus, on top of it, it have one window approach and full support towards the crypto mining operations. So, still until now, there is almost zero risk and huge rewards coming to this land. Be honest, I don't know how long will it last, but I'm here just because of that.
I see.
Even when I was in Europe, even when I was traveling across the globe, even when I was in Asia, in America, in my country as well, I was keep hearing Dubai, 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 Dubai,
Mhm.
Dubai. You know, Dubai and Abu Dhabi is Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and um, Singapore is top destinations for the most millionaire, for the majority of the millionaires to came there. So I was just thinking it makes sense to go there. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like crypto has become a millionaire's game to the most part, but there are good applications and good products out there today that reduce the barriers to entry and allow people to, make these dollar cost averaging approach and um, other companies that are allowing, retail miners to come into the play. But that also requires massive infrastructure in order to support retail miners at scale. So um, there's that thin line between is Bitcoin now with, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the recent announcement by Do for their cloud miners service. Um, that do you think that this will centralize hash rate more and more, or will it? Where's the line that we're end up going to cross by having more of these institutions come in and set up um, cloud mining services and pretty much owning the infrastructure? Does that centralize hash rate to a certain extent, or allows us to support the network further, or is it setting us back? How do you see it?
See, in that particular case, it very much depends on your mentality. We have to be sure that high risk is high reward, low risk is low reward, right? So the do cloud mining game is a low risk, low reward game, right? Because yes, these guys are regulated by the government. Moreover, they are backed up by the government because they have the major institutional players like a Phoenix Group who is supporting them with the hash rate and etc., who have more than 500 megawatts of capacity. So it's almost unlimited, let's say, for the people who are going to get this in place, right? However, um, this is about how much you want to invest and how much you want to get back. So let's say if we're speaking about the cloud mining in general, you could have in between 21 to 29% on a yearly basis as a ROI, I would say, on a realistic play here in UAE. However, if we're speaking about the machine purchase, the ROI can be as twice lower as this because you have a gap where to play in between when you're buying and when you're selling. When you have a direct terahash distribution, you know from the beginning how much ROI you're going to make on a yearly basis. However, the threshold for the cloud mining in that specific case is much lower than the threshold to buying the direct mining equipment. So that's the point. It is all about how much you want to invest and how much you want to get back.
Yeah,
I
correct.
would say so.
The higher the risk, the higher the reward, right? So
The higher the risk, the higher is the reward. Yeah,
there is no,
100%.
in my opinion, there's nothing better than owning your machines, but that comes with its own risks. It comes with its own challenges.
Absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
yes. There is an electricity bills, there
Yes.
is the repairs which can come into the place. Yeah, there is the machines could get easily outdated because of the market challenges. There is the crypto mining difficulty which comes into the place. There are many, many things. However, if we're speaking between the cloud mining and the mining with the machines, the difference is basically twice. You could think about how you want to distribute your own investment and how much risk you want to absorb. It's all about you,
Correct.
nothing about us. Our roles is just to be an advisors, to give you more knowledge about the things, right?
Do
The
you have your own
final
mining?
decision is yours. Yes, 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 of course, absolutely. I have 48 machines of mine.
Yeah.
So I mine Kaspa, LTC, and I mine Bitcoin currently.
Okay.
Honestly speaking, I find LTC the most rewarding as of now because Kaspa has its own volatility. However, as a miner, I keep believe that Kaspa will get back to their beautiful, amazing rewards than it was before. With the Bitcoin mining, there is a slight challenges right now because as we see it, we're hitting all-time high again and again and again, and then it dropped by about 20%, and now many people are getting scared by touching 96K, 97K, and potentially drop even more than this. So everyone is keep their ears on what's going to happen, where when to buy if it's going to touch 150K, sailor suggestion, etc., etc. However, LTC right now suggests the possibility to mine one Bitcoin in about 15-20% less the Bitcoin ratio is. If
Interesting.
you can, in UAE specifically, you can mine Bitcoin in about right now 75, $80,000 for the LTC mining. You can still mine LTC, but get your rewards in Bitcoin, and you can get one Bitcoin at the ratio in about $65,000, which is roughly 30% lower than the market ratio. However, in order to do that, you need to be patient, which is a challenge.
Correct. Yeah. Patience is the key, and riding the whole cycle is very important. Like just stick to it
100%.
for the whole cycle, and you'll see the reward. Most cases. I just want you to give me specifically and our audience a last word on how you see crypto. or your role within the crypto space eventually pursuing that mission to support nations in redistribution of wealth and eventually supporting or strengthening socioeconomic statuses, because the trickle-down economics is not always working in the fiat world, right? So how does Aleksa see a resolve for that as crypto expert today, if you were to advise a nation?
The best thing about crypto, which I highly believe in, we all want independence. We all want freedom. We don't want any intermediaries in between us. The moment when we do the fiat money transaction, we are doing it through the bank. The bank verifies what is going on with our transaction. If the bank confirms without frozen, without everything, then the recipient is getting the money. What's happening in the crypto is that the crypto miners are verifying the transaction. The moment you're sending the money to someone else, the crypto miners, the people who are strengthening the ecosystem, who are trying to develop it more and more, who believe in this, who keep investing in this, their money, their time, their education, their passion, and their knowledge, verifying the transaction. In the end of the day, the recipient is getting what he's supposed to get with much lower rates, which much higher reward, and with being completely decentralized. This is the main idea of the blockchain.
I appreciate your time, Aleksa. Thank you so much for giving us this great insight and valuable input on the mining industry, crypto in general, and also a very key thing that you mentioned is the socioeconomic lag within certain nations that crypto can solve.
Thanks for drilling into crypto with us. If you enjoyed our discussion, please give us a like on your podcast app or social media, and don't forget to subscribe. Join us next time when we will deliver more perspectives on crypto asset mining, energy markets, and the global financial revolution.